Brittanys are smart, like genuinely smart. And I don't mean sits on command smart. I mean they were bred to quarter fields, lock onto birds, and make split-second decisions alongside a hunter. That kind of intelligence. The kind that makes them incredible to train when you're doing it right, and absolutely maddening when you're not. And potty training is where a lot of new Brittany owners hit the wall. I know, because I was one of them. I spent 6 months doing it wrong, following the same generic advice you'll find in every forum and every YouTube video, and wondering why nothing was sticking. Because here's what happens. You've got this dog with a motor that doesn't quit, and a brain that's always running. And if your training is boring or repetitive or just sloppy, they check out. They'll find a scent in the yard way more interesting than whatever you're saying. And then you're standing there in your pajamas at 6 a.m. wondering why your dog won't pee where you want them to. The other thing, and I can't stress this enough, Brittanys are soft dogs, emotionally soft. They're bonded to you in a way that some breeds just aren't. And that means harsh corrections, yelling, any of that stuff. It doesn't just not work. It makes things worse, like measurably worse. You'll get a dog who's afraid to go in front of you at all, indoors or out. So scrap the punishment playbook entirely. Positive reinforcement, high-value treats. That's your whole toolkit. And honestly, it's the only one you need. Okay, so your Brittany peed on the floor, again, and you're frustrated. I get it. But I need you to hear this. Your dog didn't do it to spite you. I know it feels personal, especially when they look at you with that face right after. But spite isn't in the equation, not even close. What is in the equation? A few things, and most of them are either biology, stress, health, or, and I say this with love, you. The biology part is straightforward. Puppies have tiny bladders and underdeveloped sphincter muscles. Same deal as human babies, honestly. The vet rule of thumb is about 1 hour of holding capacity per month of age, and that caps out around 8 hours for adults. So if you've got a 2-month-old pup and you're expecting them to hold it for 3 hours, that's not a training problem. That's a math problem. You're gonna get a puddle. Then there's the understanding gap. Your dog might genuinely not know yet that bathroom means outside. And not know yet doesn't mean they're slow. It means you haven't done enough reps. We're talking hundreds of successful, rewarded outdoor trips before this clicks as a permanent habit. Hundreds, not dozens. Now, if your Brittany was doing great and suddenly starts having accidents, or if your puppy seems completely immune to everything you're doing, go to the vet. Seriously, kidney disease, bladder stones, UTIs, these things create an urge to go that no amount of training can override. Same with GI stuff, parasites, dietary sensitivities, general illness. Any of that can cause diarrhea that your dog physically cannot hold. Don't sit at home Googling symptoms. Just make the appointment. And look, even when you're doing everything right, accidents are going to happen, especially early on. That's just puppyhood. The goal isn't 0 accidents from day 1. The goal is fewer accidents each week and keeping your cool through the messy parts. Because the moment you lose your patience is the moment you start setting the training back. The day you bring them home, that's when you start. Not next week, not once they settle in. Day 1. Most puppies come home around 8 to 12 weeks, and that window is, God, what's the word? It's like prime learning time. Their brains are developing fast, they're absorbing everything, and they'll adapt to a schedule quicker than you'd think possible. You set the structure on day 1, and you're basically writing the rules of the house into their operating system while it's still being built. And the flip side is real too. If you wait, if you let them freelance for a few weeks while you figure things out, they're building habits anyway, bad ones, indoor ones. And unlearning a bad habit takes about 10 times the effort of teaching the right one from the start. I've seen it so many times. Owners come to me at 4 months saying we wanted to give him time to adjust, and now they've got a dog who thinks the living room carpet is a perfectly acceptable bathroom. One thing though, don't push formal training before 8 weeks. Dogs younger than that just don't have the muscle control or the mental wiring to handle it. You'd be setting expectations they literally cannot meet, and that's not fair to them. 8 weeks is the floor. Before that, it's on the breeder. This one I'm a big fan of, especially for Brittanys, bell training. You teach your dog to ring a bell when they need to go out, and it removes so much of the guesswork. Because otherwise, you're just staring at your dog all day trying to decode whether that little pace by the door means I need to pee or I heard a squirrel. So here's how it works. You get some bells. Sleigh bells on a string work great, or one of those tap bells you set on the floor, or even a wireless smart bell if you want to get fancy. Whatever you pick, make sure it's loud enough to hear from another room, but not so loud it freaks your dog out. Brittanys can be sound sensitive, so keep that in mind. You'll also need treats, good ones. Small, smelly, easy to chew. Freeze-dried liver is kind of the gold standard here. The training itself happens in stages. First, you're the one ringing the bell. Every single time you take them out for a potty break, you ring the bell and say your cue word. Potty, outside, whatever you pick. Just be consistent. You're planting the seed. Bell sound equals going outside, equals bathroom. Then you transition to getting your dog to hit the bell themselves. Start by rewarding a nose boop or a paw tap on the bell as a fun little chick. Doesn't even have to be at the door yet. Once they've got that down, move it to the door. Now the bell ring opens the door. And eventually, you chain the whole thing together. Ring bell, go outside, do their business, get the big reward. That's the sequence. And consistency during this phase is everything. Placement matters more than people think. Hang the bell at nose or paw height on whichever door you use most for bathroom trips. Too high, and they'll scratch the door trying to reach it. Too low, and it becomes a chew toy. You know your dog's height. Just think about where their nose naturally lands. And here's the part people mess up. Everyone in the house has to follow the same rules. When that bell rings, someone needs to get to the door fast. Every time. No, hold on, I'm watching something. If you're slow, you're teaching the dog that the bell doesn't actually do anything. The other thing, and this is important, the bell is for bathroom only, not for I'm bored and want to chase things in the yard. If your Brittany rings the bell and you suspect they just want to play, take them out on a short leash, walk them to a designated potty spot, wait about 2 minutes. If nothing happens, back inside. No playtime, no exploring. They figure out pretty quick that the bell is a toilet pass, not a fun pass. So you've been crushing it. 2 weeks, maybe 3, no accidents. You're feeling good. You're telling people your Brittany is basically potty trained. And then puddle on the kitchen floor, and another one by the couch the next day. Welcome to regression. It happens to almost every dog, and it doesn't mean your training failed. It means something shifted. With Brittanys, there's usually a specific reason. A lot of the time, it's the adolescent phase. Somewhere between 6 and 12 months, hormones kick in and your sweet little puppy turns into a teenager who'd rather chase a bird than remember where the bathroom is. Sound familiar? Yeah. Stress is another big one. Brittanys are sensitive dogs, and changes in their environment, new house, new baby, new work schedule, can throw them off. I had a client whose Brittany started having accidents the week they rearranged the living room furniture. That's how tuned in these dogs are. Then there's the one nobody wants to hear. You gave them too much freedom too soon. The dog had a couple good weeks, so you stopped closing the baby gates, stopped supervising as closely, maybe let them have the run of the house. And one unsupervised accident turns into 2, turns into a new habit. I see this constantly. Oh, and if you didn't clean old accidents with an enzyme cleaner, they can still smell it. You can't, but they absolutely can. And that smell is basically a sign that says bathroom here. But before you do anything else, before you adjust gates or schedules or anything, go to the vet. Rule out medical stuff first. UTIs are incredibly common, and they make it physically impossible for your dog to hold it. Your vet might also check for bladder stones, kidney issues, even early diabetes. You want to know it's behavioral before you treat it as behavioral. And honestly, a lot of regressions come down to training inconsistency. After a few clean weeks, people get comfortable. They stop treating outdoor successes. They sleep in on Saturday and make the dog hold it an extra 2 hours. They figure he knows by now. He doesn't. Not yet. Not solid enough to survive you getting lazy. Sorry, but that's what it is. Getting through a regression is pretty simple in theory. You go back to basics. Full supervision, baby gates, leash for potty trips so they stay focused. Use your cue words. Treat and praise like crazy for outdoor successes. And absolutely do not punish indoor accidents. No yelling, no rubbing their nose in it, none of that. All that teaches them is to hide it better. Behind the couch, in the spare bedroom, places you won't find it for days. Clean everything with enzyme-based cleaner. Keep the daily routine predictable. And make sure your Brittany is getting enough exercise and mental stimulation. A bored, pent-up sporting dog is way more likely to backslide than one who's been properly tired out. Most regressions clear up in a few days to a couple weeks. Seriously, it feels like a disaster when it's happening, but if you stay calm and go back to what worked before, your dog will get back on track. They're smart. They haven't forgotten the training. They just need a refresher. And if it doesn't resolve, even after you've tightened everything back up, that's when you call a positive reinforcement trainer or a behaviorist. No shame in it. Sometimes you need a second set of eyes on the problem. Your regular floor cleaner, it's lying to you. I mean, your nose buys it. Smells like lemon, smells like pine, smells like clean. But your Brittany's nose? Totally different story. When your pup has an accident on the floor, they're leaving behind uric acid. It's basically a biological bookmark that says, this is the bathroom now. And your Swiffer or your steam mop, they're just painting over it, masking the smell for you. Your dog still reads it loud and clear. And here's the one that really gets people. Ammonia-based cleaners. Windex, a bunch of those all-purpose sprays. Urine naturally has ammonia in it. So you're scrubbing the floor thinking you're fixing the problem, and your dog walks over and goes, "Oh, something else peed here too? Cool. Guess this is definitely the spot." You're literally reinforcing the thing you're trying to stop. What you actually need is an enzymatic cleaner, specifically made for pet urine. These things work differently. They've got live bacteria in them that feed on the waste proteins, like they literally eat it until there's nothing left to smell. Blot up the mess first, then soak the area, and I mean soak it, don't just spritz, with the enzyme spray, and let it air dry on its own. The active ingredients need time to do their thing. If you rush it, you're wasting your money. And look, you gotta remember what breed you're dealing with. Brittanys were bred to track faint bird scent across a field. That nose can find traces of urine buried in your floorboards that you couldn't detect with a black light and a prayer. You might not smell anything. Your dog absolutely can. Skip the enzymatic step, and I pretty much guarantee your pup's gonna hit that same spot again and again. All that progress you made, gone. That first year with your Brittany, it sets the tone for everything. These are smart, high-energy hunting dogs, and if you don't give them structure early, they'll invent their own version of it, which you will not enjoy. So the AKC has 2 programs worth knowing about. The STAR puppy program, that's your starting point, and then the Canine Good Citizen program, the CGC, which is more about public manners. Quick distinction that trips people up. The CGC actually became an official AKC title back in 2013, like it goes on your dog's registered pedigree. The STAR puppy program gives you a certificate and a medal, which is nice. It's recognition of your early effort, but it's not a formal title. The STAR program is for pups under 12 months. STAR stands for Socialization, Training, Activity, and Responsibility. And for Brittanys specifically, that socialization piece is, God, it's so important. Without it, you can end up with a timid dog, and a timid Brittany is a miserable Brittany. The way it works is an AKC-approved evaluator takes you through a 6-week course. No big scary final exam. It's about steady improvement across 20 different skills. Things like tolerating a collar, letting a stranger pet them, basically schwalking. Progress, not perfection. The CGC is the bigger deal. It's a 10-step evaluation, and it tests how your dog handles real-world stuff. Can they accept a friendly stranger petting them without losing their mind? Walk through a crowd without jumping on everyone? React calmly when somebody drops something? Ignore another dog walking past? That kind of thing. And it's not just about the dog. They're watching the handler too. Your commitment matters. Any dog can go for the CGC, by the way. It's not breed specific. And it opens doors. Therapy dog certification, advanced agility, and sometimes it helps with housing or insurance situations where they're picky about breeds. These two programs basically form a pipeline. Star Puppy feeds into CGC, and the AKC evaluators keep the standards consistent through the whole thing. It's a real roadmap for raising a well-socialized Brittany.
Okay, so you've picked your outdoor bathroom spot. Good. Now you need to make your Brittany understand, like truly understand, that this patch of ground is where the magic happens. The second your pup finishes going, you celebrate. Happy voice, big energy. Yes, good potty, good dog. But here's the calibration part. You want enthusiastic, not unhinged. Too much excitement and you'll literally cause an excitement pee on top of the pee they just did, which is not ideal. Pair that praise with a treat, right there, immediately. And I cannot stress the timing enough. You've got maybe 1 to 2 seconds after they finish. That's your window. Dogs live entirely in the present moment. If you wait until you've walked back inside, through the door, up the stairs, and you hand them a biscuit by the kitchen counter, congratulations, you just rewarded them for walking into the kitchen. They have zero idea it's connected to what happened in the yard 3 minutes ago. And the treat matters. Don't hand them a piece of their regular kibble and expect fireworks. Kibble doesn't have the wow factor, I guess, to convince a bouncy Brittany to actually control their bladder, ignore every bird scent in the yard, and hold out for the right spot. You need the good stuff. Tiny pieces of boiled chicken, little bits of low-sodium hot dog, freeze-dried beef liver, something that makes going outside to pee feel like winning the lottery. What you're building in their head is a direct link. This spot plus peeing equals incredible snacks and a very happy human. Brittanys are wired to please you. That's in their DNA. So once that connection clicks, potty training stops being this frustrating battle and turns into a game they actually want to play, and they'll repeat it eagerly.
Indoor potty pads, wee-wee pads, training pads, whatever you want to call them. I know. They seem like a reasonable option depending on your situation and your goals. But for a Brittany, most trainers, myself included, are going to tell you to skip them. I get the appeal. Terrible weather, freezing cold, you're in an apartment. It feels like a convenient workaround. But what it actually does is create long-term problems that are way harder to fix than just putting on a coat and going outside. Think about what you're telling your puppy when you put a pad on the floor. You're saying sometimes peeing inside is fine, and then you turn around and try to teach them that peeing inside is not fine. That's a mixed message, and dogs don't do well with mixed messages, especially smart ones. And on top of that, a high-energy Brittany pup with that drive to investigate and dig and shred things, they're probably going to treat that crinkly pad like a chew toy. You'll come back to torn, pee-soaked paper spread across your living room. Ask me how I know. There's also this thing called surface preference. Your dog gets used to the feel of that soft, absorbent pad under their paws, and then they won't go on grass, or dirt, or gravel. They want the pad, and undoing that is a nightmare. You end up having to slowly move the pad closer to the door, then onto the porch, then drag it out onto the grass itself just to transition them outside. It's months of extra work you didn't need. Now, there are exceptions. If you're on the 27th floor of a high-rise and your puppy needs to go now, okay. If you have mobility issues that make frequent trips outside genuinely difficult, or if your vet's told you to keep a young, unvaccinated Brittany away from certain areas because of parvo risk. In those cases, pads are a practical tool, a necessity even. But they're a management tool for specific situations, not a substitute for actual house training. Your Brittany is going to spend their adult life going to the bathroom outside, so it just makes more sense to start there. One spot, one surface, one expectation. You cut out the confusion and you fast-track the whole process. This one gets mishandled constantly, and with Brittany's, getting it wrong actually makes things worse, a lot worse. So your pup pees when you walk in the door, or when a guest reaches down to pet them, or when they get startled by a loud noise. Your first instinct is probably we're backsliding on house training. But that's not what this is, not even close. This is involuntary. Your dog is not doing this on purpose. They're not being spiteful. They're not thinking, ha, that'll show 'em. What's happening is their emotions, whether it's pure joy or genuine fear, are temporarily overriding their bladder control, like a fuse blowing. There are two flavors here. Submissive urination goes way back. It's a puppyhood instinct, where young dogs pee to signal respect to older, more dominant dogs, sort of an automatic white flag. So when your Brittany feels intimidated or cornered or startled, this kicks in. It's appeasement. It's please don't hurt me. Excitement urination is different. That's usually puppies and young dogs whose nervous systems and sphincter muscles just aren't mature enough to handle the sheer voltage of being happy. You come home from work, they're thrilled to see you, and their body just can't keep up. Bladder gives out. And Brittany's are what trainers call soft. They feel everything. They absorb your emotions, your tone, your body language at a level that tougher breeds don't. Which means the single worst thing you can do is yell at them, or scold them, or punish them. I know it's frustrating, you just cleaned that floor. But raising your voice will only pile more stress on top of the stress that caused the problem. You'll make the submissive peeing worse, you'll make them more anxious, and you'll damage their trust in you, which with a Brittany is everything. Prevention is your best move. Make your homecomings boring. I mean, really boring. Walk in, ignore your dog for 5 minutes, let them settle completely before you engage. When you do say hi, get low, kneel down, turn slightly sideways, avoid direct eye contact. Scratch their chest or under their chin instead of reaching over their head. You're making yourself smaller and less intense. And if you can, move those greetings outside for a while. If they leak, it happens on the grass. Problem solved, or at least relocated. Longer term, invest in confidence building, basic obedience work, agility games, stuff that makes your Brittany feel capable and independent. That self-assurance pays dividends everywhere, including the bladder department. If an accident happens inside, don't react. Don't look at it. Don't look at them. Don't say a word. quietly clean it up with an enzymatic cleaner, not your regular household stuff. The enzymatic formula breaks down those uric acid crystals, so the scent is actually gone, not just hidden. Your dog doesn't smell it later, doesn't remark it, doesn't get anxious about it. Good news is, most dogs outgrow this. As they gain confidence and their bladder muscles fully develop, usually by about a year old, the emotional leaks taper off. Your job in the meantime is to keep things calm and predictable, set them up to succeed. But if it's still happening regularly into full adulthood, that's when you call in a trainer for a personalized look, or talk to your vet. Could be a urinary tract infection, could be a structural issue, worth ruling out. Before your Brittany was your couch buddy, they were a French bird dog, pointing and retrieving game alongside hunters all day across open fields. That's what they were built for. Endless stamina, tight partnership with a human, sharp nose, and a brain that never stops working. High energy and deep emotional sensitivity wrapped in one package. And this isn't just trivia for breed nerds. This is the key to understanding why your dog does what they do. At restless energy you see at home, that's a hunting dog without a hunt. The way they follow you from room to room, always watching your face, that's a working partner looking for direction. Even when they're lounging on your rug, there's a tireless field dog in there, waiting. So instead of fighting all that energy, which you will lose, by the way, lean into it. Use that desire for partnership. Channel their brain and their stamina into things that actually tire them out, and everything gets easier, including potty training. A Brittany that's been mentally and physically worked is a Brittany that can focus during a training session. A bored one? Good luck. For the sensitivity and the separation anxiety piece, and Brittany's are prone to it, you want to slowly get them used to being alone. Don't just disappear for 8 hours on day one. Build up to it. Reward calm behavior heavily. When you're together, balance the physical stuff, the runs, the fetch, the rompang, with mental challenges, stuffed Kongs, puzzle toys, food games. That builds independent confidence, which is huge for this breed. Keep socializing them. New people, new dogs, new environments. Consistently, positively. And when boredom starts creeping in, because it will, go straight to their roots. Food puzzles that make them work for it, agility courses, tracking exercises, field trials if you've got access. These scratch that deep itch for teamwork and purpose. And a Brittany that feels purposeful, way calmer at home, way more receptive to learning where the bathroom is. Your Brittany is watching you right now, like really watching you. And the second they pee on your kitchen floor, which they will, whatever comes out of your mouth next is going to shape the next 3 months of training, maybe longer. So look, if you catch them mid-squat, mid-stream, whatever, quick little in a high-pitched voice, scoop them up, get them outside to their spot. That's it. And if they finish out there, you praise like they just won the Nobel Prize. Calm scoop, big praise. That's the whole move. But here's what I need you to really hear. Your puppy is not doing this to get back at you. I know it feels personal when it's on the rug you just cleaned, but they're babies, literal babies with tiny bladders and zero context for what you want. Either they physically couldn't hold it, or they gave you a signal and you missed it. That's usually what happened. You missed the signal. And I cannot stress this enough. Do not yell at them. Don't punish them. And for the love of God, do not rub your nose in it. That trick your uncle swears by, it doesn't work. It especially doesn't work on Brittanys, because these dogs are soft. They feel everything. You scream at a Brittany for peeing on the floor, you know what you get? A dog that still pees on the floor, but now they do it behind the couch where you can't see them. Congratulations, you just made it worse. Every accident is information. That's how I want you to think about it, like a little diagnostic report. What happened right before? Did they just eat? Just finish playing? Did you push it too long between breaks? Were they sniffing around the door and you were looking at your phone? Be honest with yourself on that last one.
And then you adjust. You shrink the gap between potty trips. You watch closer, you get better at reading them, and I promise you will get better at reading them. One more thing. Clean it up with an enzymatic cleaner. Not Windex, not whatever's under your sink. Enzymatic.
Because regular cleaners don't break down the pheromones, and your Brittanys knows, this is a bird dog, remember, they can smell what happened there long after you think it's clean. If you don't kill the scent, you're basically putting up a sign that says bathroom here. Stay calm, interrupt without anger, clean properly, tighten the schedule. That's how you fix this without breaking the trust you're building. Okay, there's this rule people throw around. The AKC mentions it, every blog mentions it, called the month-to-hour ratio. Basically, take your puppy's age in months, and that's roughly how many hours they can hold it. So an 8-week-old, 2 hours tops. 4 months old, maybe 4 hours. And it kind of works until it doesn't. Once you get past 6, 7, 8 months, the math just falls apart. And no adult dog should be expected to hold it all day just because the math technically says they could. Treat it as a loose guess. That's all it is, a loose guess. And when in doubt, take them out more, way more. Give your dog as many chances to succeed outside as possible, because every success outside is a rep in the right direction. Now, age sets the baseline, sure, but a bunch of other stuff moves the needle. Nighttime, for example. Your puppy can hold it way longer while sleeping because everything slows down. Their metabolism, their digestion, all of it. But flip that. If they've been doing zoomies in the backyard or you just finished a really intense play session, their system kicks into overdrive and you need to get them outside basically immediately. Feeding schedule is huge, huge. If your Brittany eats at the same times every day, their body processes it on the same timeline, which means you can predict, almost to the minute after a while, when they're going to need to go. That's one of the biggest cheat codes in potty training. You can also pick up the water bowl an hour or two before bed. Some people feel weird about that, but it's fine. You're not dehydrating your dog. You're just setting them up for a dry night. And, okay, this one's important. If your dog was doing great and suddenly starts having accidents again, like out of nowhere, don't just assume it's a training problem. Get them to the vet. UTIs are way more common in puppies than people think, and a urinary tract infection will completely wreck their ability to hold it. Rule that out first. As they grow, their muscles get stronger. Bowel control, sphincter control, all of it develops over time. Age is still the single biggest factor in how long they can physically hold it. But please, and I say this to every client, do not use the month-to-hour thing as a challenge. Don't sit there going, well, she's 4 months old, so she should be able to make it 4 hours. That's not the game. The game is getting them outside before they even need to go. Proactive, not reactive. Because if you're forcing a puppy to hold it to their absolute limit, you're not training them. You're just gambling. And you're also putting them at risk for painful bladder infections. Nobody wants that.
A Brittany without a routine is a Brittany who's gonna pee on your floor. I'm serious. These dogs are smart, they're active, and they genuinely need structure to feel okay. When the day follows a rhythm, same stuff happening at roughly the same times, something clicks for them. They relax, they stop guessing, they start knowing what's coming next. And that predictability is what makes potty training actually work. Every day needs blocks. Sleeping, eating, training, playing, pottying. Same order, same-ish times.
And what's cool is this isn't just behavioral, it's biological. A consistent schedule literally regulates their digestive tract. their body starts running like clockwork, and when their body's on a clock, their bathroom needs become predictable, which is the whole point. Meal times. This is, if I had to pick one thing, it'd be this. Feed your Brittany at the same exact times every day. Same times. Their body adapts. Food goes in on a schedule, food comes out on a schedule. 2 or 3 meals a day, put the bowl down, give them 15 minutes, pick it up. Done. Do not leave food sitting out all day. Free feeding, where the bowl's just always there and they graze, that destroys your ability to predict anything. You can't control the output if you don't control the input. That's math. Now, your non-negotiable potty breaks. These are the 5 times that have to happen every single day. No exceptions.
First, immediately when they wake up. Doesn't matter if it's morning or a nap. The second those eyes open, you're moving. Straight outside. Their bladder's full, and you've got maybe a minute or 2 before things go sideways. Second, shortly after every meal. A full stomach physically pushes things along in the digestive tract, so most puppies need to go within 10 to 30 minutes of finishing their food. Don't wait. Don't get comfortable on the couch. 10 to 30 minutes.
Third, after every play or training session, physical activity, excitement, the mental effort of learning, all of it stimulates the urge to go. Finish the session, put the leash on, walk them calmly to their bathroom spot. Fourth, before being left alone, whether you're crating them or leaving the house, take them out right before. You're setting them up to succeed. They start their alone time with an empty tank, and that's how you avoid coming home to a mess. Fifth, right before bed. Last thing at night. This is the final item on your list, after everything else is done. Calm trip outside, let them go, then lights out. And something a lot of owners don't think to do, but I really, really recommend, keep a log, especially in the first few weeks. Write down when they eat, when they drink, when they nap, when they go. You'll start to see patterns emerge, and those patterns are gold. Stick it on the fridge so everyone in the house can see it. Because that's the other thing. Everyone has to be on board. Every person in the house. Same rules, same schedule, same expectations. If one person lets the puppy wander around unsupervised after a meal because they forgot or they didn't think it mattered, that one slip can unravel weeks of progress. I've seen it happen, more than once. Routine is the weapon. Use it. I've worked with a lot of Brittany owners, a lot, and the mistakes I see are almost always the same 10 things. So let's just go through them, because if you can dodge these, you're already ahead of most people. Number 1, reacting harshly to accidents. We already talked about this, but it's the biggest one, so it goes first. You yell at a Brittany for peeing inside, they don't learn where to go. They learn to be afraid of you. And then they start sneaking off to hidden corners to do it where you can't catch them. You've now created a secret peer. Fantastic. Just clean it up, calmly, and supervise them better next time. Number 2, no consistent routine. These are smart, active dogs. They need rhythm. They depend on it. If you're feeding them at different times, walking them whenever you feel like it, letting the schedule drift all over the place, their internal clock has nothing to sync up with. Their digestion is chaos, and chaotic digestion means unpredictable bathroom habits. Lock in a schedule. Stick to it. Number 3, too much freedom too soon. This one kills me because it's so avoidable. Your puppy has not earned the run of the house yet. They don't know the rules. If you let an untrained puppy wander room to room unsupervised, they are going to pick a spot and use it, and then they'll use it again. And again, because now it's their spot. Baby gates, a tether, keep them where you can see them. Number 4, skipping proper cleanup. I talked about enzymatic cleaners already, but I'll say it again because people keep using regular stuff and wondering why the dog goes in the same spot. Your Brittany was bred to track faint scent, bird dog nose. If there's even a trace of urine left in that carpet fiber, they're finding it.
And to them, that trace is basically a sign that says, go here, get the enzymatic cleaner, use it. Number 5, pee pads. I know this is a hot take for some people, but I'm not a fan. Here's the problem. You put a pee pad down and you're telling your dog that peeing inside is sometimes okay. And a Brittany, who's smart but still figuring out your arbitrary human rules, goes, cool, soft rectangular surface, got it. And now your bath mat is a target, and that towel on the floor?
And the corner of that rug. You're creating confusion that you then have to uncreate. Just skip them. Go straight to outside. Number 6, weak praise. Muttering good boy while scrolling your phone doesn't register at all. When your puppy goes outside where they're supposed to, you need to make it an event. I'm talking high-value treats. Little bits of chicken, cheese, whatever makes their brain light up, delivered the second they finish, not after you walk back inside. Right there, right then. Make it worth remembering. Number 7, mixing up potty trips and playtime. This is sneaky. You take your Brittany outside to go to the bathroom, and they start chasing a bug, or sniffing the fence, or just being a Brittany. And 10 minutes later, they haven't gone, so you bring them back in, and they pee on the floor within 30 seconds. Sound familiar? Potty time is potty time. Leash on, go to the spot, boring and focused. Play comes after, not before, not during. Number 8, ignoring the signals. Your puppy is trying to tell you, they really are. A little whimper, sniffing in circles, walking weird near the door. And you're watching TV or cooking dinner and you miss it. Every time you miss a signal and they have an accident, that's a missed opportunity for a successful outdoor trip. Pay attention. Especially in those first few months, your eyes should be on your dog more than you think is reasonable. Number 9, misusing the crate. The crate is supposed to be their safe space, their den. If you're leaving them in there for 6, 7, 8 hours and they're forced to go in their own bed, you just broke the one instinct that was actually helping you. Dogs don't want to soil where they sleep. That's built in. But if you give them no choice, you override that instinct, and now the crate means nothing. And if you're using the crate as punishment, throwing them in there when they mess up, even worse. It should be a place they choose to go, not a place they dread. Number 10, losing it over regressions. Your puppy was doing amazing for 2 weeks and then suddenly pees inside 3 times in one day. I get it. It's frustrating. But this is completely normal. Adolescent dogs regress. It's part of growing up. It doesn't mean they're being defiant or they forgot everything. It means they're going through a developmental phase and they need you to take a breath, go back to basics, and tighten the routine for a bit. That's it. It passes. Your Brittany is talking to you constantly, not with words, obviously, but with their body. And if you learn to read it, you'll catch about 90% of accidents before they happen. These dogs are sharp, like unusually tuned in to their people, and they will broadcast when they need to go. The trick is knowing what to look for, because some of these signals are pretty subtle, and they get more subtle as the dog gets older and their bladder control improves. What starts as obvious frantic circling as a puppy might become just a quiet look toward the door 6 months later. So here's what to watch for. Intense sniffing. If your Brittany suddenly drops what they're doing and puts their nose to the ground, like really deliberately investigating the floor, that's a red flag. They're scoping out a bathroom spot. Don't wait to see what happens next. Leash, outside, now. Circling. Pacing in tight little loops, usually in one area. This is classic pre-squat behavior. It's actually an old instinct. They're sort of patting down the area, making sure it's safe before they put themselves in a vulnerable position. If you see the circles, you've got seconds. Maybe. Restlessness and pacing. Your dog was lying down, totally chill, and now they're up and moving around and can't seem to settle, especially if they keep drifting toward the door they normally use to go out. That shift from calm to antsy, that's your signal. They're uncomfortable. Their bladder is full and they're trying to deal with it. Sudden halts in play. This one catches people off guard. You're in the middle of tug or fetch, and your Brittany just stops, drops the toy, goes somewhere else mentally. That sudden break in focus usually means their body just sent an urgent message. Don't brush it off as them getting bored. Get them outside. Sneaking off. If your puppy starts quietly slipping away, down a hallway, behind the couch, into a back room, you're already late. That's not casual wandering. That's a dog who's moved past "I need to go" and is now actively looking for a private spot to go indoors. You've got seconds, if that. Eye contact and vocalizing. Brittanys figure this one out fast. They'll look at you, then look at the door. Back to you, back to the door. And if you still aren't moving, they'll add a whimper or a whine or a bark. It's pretty intentional. Just make sure you learn the difference between their "I need to pee" sounds and their regular "play with me" sounds, because they're not always the same. Nudging or pawing at you. If the staring didn't work, they escalate. A nose bump to your leg, a paw on your arm. This is your dog physically going, "Hey, I asked nicely and you ignored me, so now I'm poking you." Take the hint, squatting or posturing. If you see this, it's already happening. Females drop low in the back end. Males might squat or lift a leg. Both will arch their spine if they're about to poop. A quick clap, just to startle them enough to pause the process, and then immediately outside. You're doing damage control at this point, but it's still worth it. The second you clock any of these, move. Leash on, straight to their spot. Don't deliberate, don't finish your sentence. Go. And yeah, really young puppies aren't going to be great at signaling clearly. They're still figuring out their own bodies. But as they grow, the communication sharpens. And every dog does it a little differently. Your Brittany's version of "I need out" might look totally different from someone else's Brittany. You'll learn it. Just keep paying attention. Every day, a little closer. I'm going to say something that shouldn't be controversial, but somehow still is. Positive reinforcement is the best way to train a dog. Any dog, full stop. And with Brittanys, look, these are soft dogs. Smart, eager, genuinely want to make you happy, but soft. You come at them with corrections and force, and you will break something in that dog that takes months to fix. I've seen it happen, more than once. The American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior backs this up. They straight up advocate for reward-based training exclusively. The AKC says positive reinforcement should be the foundation of all training. The Humane Society calls it a powerful, effective tool. So this isn't just me being a softie. The science is there. And the way I explain it to clients is, think of it like a paycheck. You show up to work, you do the thing, you get paid. If the pay's good, you keep showing up. Same deal with your dog. They go potty outside, they get paid. But here's where people mess it up. The pay has to be worth it. Little cubes of real cheddar cheese, bits of plain boiled chicken, something they lose their mind over. And this is important, those treats are only for outdoor potty breaks, nowhere else. You make that reward exclusive, and suddenly your dog is dragging you to the yard because they know that's where the good stuff lives. Pair the treat with your voice. Get excited. Sound like an idiot if you have to. Because Brittanys, they feed off your energy. Your genuine excitement is like a bonus on top of the paycheck. They want the treat and they want you to be thrilled. Use both. Now, the flip side, and I need you to really hear this one, yelling at your dog after an accident, smacking them, rubbing their nose in it, that does nothing. Actually, no, it does something. It makes everything worse. Your dog doesn't connect the punishment to the accident. What they learn is that you're scary and unpredictable around pee.
So they start hiding to go, behind the couch, in the spare bedroom. Congratulations,
You've trained a dog to sneak. There was a study in 2020, published in the PLOS1 journal, where they looked at dogs trained with aversive methods versus positive reinforcement. The dogs that got yelled at, the ones that got shark leash corrections, they showed visible stress behaviors during training, lip licking, tense body language, and after training, their cortisol levels, that's the stress hormone, were way higher than the dogs trained with rewards.
Brittanys were bred to work with you, cooperative hunting companions originally. They've got centuries of be a good partner baked into their DNA. They need a teammate, not a drill sergeant. Handle them rough and they don't push through it like some breeds might. They shut down, or they get anxious, or both. Your best training tool with this breed is trust. Build it and protect it. Every owner I work with, every single one, comes in thinking potty training is going to be like teaching sit. Couple days, some treats, done. And then 3 weeks in, they're standing in their kitchen at 6 a.m. cleaning pee off the floor for the 4th time that week, wondering what they're doing wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. Well, maybe some things. But the main problem is that housebreaking is genuinely hard. Way harder than any other part of puppy training. Because you're not T-Tantrack, you're trying to override biology. You're asking a tiny animal to fight the urge to go the second they feel the need. Hold it, communicate to a completely different species that they need to go, and then wait until they get to one specific outdoor location. That's a lot, and their bodies are working against you. A puppy can hold their bladder for roughly 1 hour per month of age. So your 8-week-old, 2 hours, maybe, on a good day. Their default setting is feel the urge, go immediately, wherever they are. They don't have a concept of inside versus outside. That's a human idea. You have to install that from scratch. And it gets worse. Once they pee on your carpet even a couple times, they start developing a preference for soft surfaces. The texture feels right to them. So now you're fighting instinct and habit. This thing takes hundreds of repetitions. Hundreds. And all of that lands on you. You have to watch them constantly, not mostly, constantly. You're looking for the pre-potty signals, the sniffing, the circling, the sudden pause mid-play. You miss it, they go on the floor, and you just lost a rep. So you're either watching them, crating them, or tethering them to your waist. That's your life for a while. You're hauling them outside after every meal, every nap, every play session. You're setting alarms at 2 a.m. You're scrubbing floors with enzymatic cleaner. And it has to be enzymatic, by the way. Regular household cleaners don't cut it. They might smell clean to you, but your dog's nose picks up the uric acid underneath and thinks, oh, this is the bathroom spot. Enzymatic cleaners are the only thing that actually breaks that down completely.
So yeah, it's exhausting, it's relentless, but once you understand why it's so hard, that you're negotiating with biology, not disobedience, you can stop being frustrated and start being strategic. Your Brittany is smart, really smart. They'll get there, you just have to outlast the process.
First thing you do when your Brittany comes home, before they even go inside the house, you walk them on a leash to one specific spot in your yard. That's their bathroom. That's the spot, from minute 1. And you keep it the same spot, every time. Every season, rain, snow, July heat, doesn't matter. Same patch of ground. Why?
Because Brittanys actually do really well with predictability. They're eager to get it right. They just need to know what right looks like. A consistent spot makes that crystal clear. Plus, bonus, your whole lawn doesn't turn into a minefield. Picking the spot matters more than you'd think. It's gotta be close to your door, like really close. If you have to walk down a flight of stairs, through a gate, across the deck, your puppy's tiny bladder isn't going to make it.
You need a spot you can reach in about 10 seconds flat. That's the rule. Surface matters too. Grass works great. Dogs like the feel of it, and it holds on to those pheromone scents that basically tell your dog, yeah, this is where we go. But if grass isn't an option, wood chips work, mulch works. Pea gravel is actually fantastic for drainage. You can just hose it down, but introduce it gradually. Brittanys have sensitive paws, so walk them over it during play a few times before you expect them to do business on it. Apartment folks, artificial pet turf on the balcony can work surprisingly well. Good drainage mimics the feel of a real yard. Now, here's a thing specific to Brittanys that I don't see people talk about enough. These are bird dogs, hunting dogs. Their eyes and nose are always on, always scanning. A squirrel runs across the fence line and your potty break just became a safari. So pick a spot that's somewhat sheltered, away from the street, away from the neighbor's yard where their cat likes to sit on the fence. Block the wind if you can. Give them some visual privacy. Because if there's too much going on, your Brittany will completely forget why they're outside. You'll bring them back in after 10 minutes of nothing, and then they'll pee on your kitchen floor 30 seconds later. I see this pattern all the time. One more thing. Clean up solid waste daily. Dogs don't want to step in a dirty bathroom any more than you do.
Pick a phrase. Go potty. Hurry up. Do business. Whatever you want. Just pick one and never change it. When you walk them to the spot, say it calmly, happily. Not yelling, not whispering, just normal, encouraging voice.
And the timing here is everything. You say the cue as they're starting to go. Not before, not after. During. That's how they connect the word to the action. The second, and I mean the second they finish, you reward. Praise, treat, the whole thing. You've got about a 3-second window. 3 seconds. After that, the association gets fuzzy. Boiled chicken, a training treat, whatever their high-value thing is. Right there, right then. And this is the part where I have to get a little firm with people. Every person in your house has to use the same phrase. Same word, same reward, same routine. If you say go potty, and your partner says go pee, and your kid says do your thing, your Brittany has no idea what any of you are talking about. These are smart dogs, but they're easily distracted, and mixed signals will stall them out fast. Get the family on the same page before the puppy arrives if you can. Okay, so not everyone has a yard. High-rise apartment, no safe outdoor access, whatever the situation is. If you need indoor pads, you need to think about this a little differently with a Brittany than you would with, say, a Maltese. Brittanys are medium-sized dogs, active, curious, bored easily. A standard flimsy pad, your Brittany will shred it. I had a client whose Brittany turned a pad into confetti in under 4 minutes. Not because the dog was bad, because the dog was bored, and the pad was basically a toy. You need something heavy-duty, thick, absorbent, leak-proof, good odor control, because you're living with this indoors. A plastic pad holder or tray frame is worth the investment, because it keeps them from grabbing the edges and dragging it around the apartment like a cape. And always put the pad in a quiet away from their food and water. Dogs don't like to eat where they go. Fair enough, honestly. You've got a few options here. Heavy-duty disposable pads are the most convenient. Multi-layer, leak-proof, just toss them when they're done. Super easy. The downside is cost. It adds up over months. And they're not great environmentally. And if your Brittany is unsupervised, they might still chew through the plastic backing, because, Brittany, washable pads are tougher. They hold up to scratching and tearing way better than disposables. More expensive upfront, and you're committing to a laundry routine with pet-safe detergent, but long-term you save money. A lot of owners I work with prefer these.
Then there's the real grass or bark patch systems. And honestly, for a Brittany, these are kind of brilliant. The natural scent actually triggers their instinct to go. And when you eventually transition to outdoor potty training, which is the goal,
It's a much smoother jump because they're already used to the feel and smell of real ground. Downside is they're pricier, and you have to replace the grass or bark regularly through a subscription, and you've got to keep up with the maintenance. Take what fits your life. Just make sure whatever you choose can survive a Brittany. Brittany's without socialization turn into one of two dogs. The one who's terrified of everything, or the one who's so overstimulated they can't function. Neither is fun to live with. This breed is sensitive, enthusiastic, and has a prey drive that, well, they'll point at a butterfly. I've literally watched it happen on a walk. They're wired to notice everything, which means everything is either exciting or scary. Socialization is how you teach them it's mostly just normal. Start early. Your job is to introduce them to as many different kinds of people as you can. Tall people, short people, people in hats, people with umbrellas, kids on bikes, other dogs, cats if you can, different floor textures, different environments. Take them to calm, controlled settings, not the dog park, not yet. Dog parks are off limits until they're fully vaccinated, usually around 16 weeks, and they've got a solid recall. Before that, it's too risky. Get them used to sounds. Vacuums, blenders, door slamming, sirens outside. And whenever something loud or weird happens, you pair it with a treat. Loud noise equals good thing. That's the formula. You're building positive associations with the world. And with a Brittany specifically, you want to channel all that alertness into calm confidence. They're going to notice the bird on the fence. They're going to freeze and point at it. It's in their blood. Acknowledge it. Don't make a big deal. Redirect gently and keep moving. The key word here is manageable. You're not throwing your puppy into a crowded farmer's market on day one. You're curating experiences. Small, positive, controlled, and you're watching them the whole time. If an overly enthusiastic stranger gets in their face, you step in. If a bigger dog is pushing them around, you step in. You're their buffer until they're confident enough to handle things on their own. That prime socialization window starts closing around 12 to 16 weeks, which sounds early because it is. So get moving, but make sure their core vaccinations are in place before the minkonlet dogs you don't know. Nobody tells you about the sleep deprivation. They should, but they don't. So I'm telling you, the first few weeks, you are going to be tired. Accept it now, and it's easier to deal with. Your evening routine starts about an hour and a half to 2 hours before bed. Pick up the water bowl, done. No more water. If you're going to sleep at 10:30, the water's gone by 8:30. This alone prevents a huge number of overnight accidents because their bladder isn't filling up while they sleep. That last hour before bed, wind things down. No fetch, no tug, no zoomies. Quiet time, gentle petting, a calm chew toy on the floor. You're bringing their energy level down, lowering their heart rate, getting that busy bird dog brain ready for sleep. Crate goes right next to your bed. I know some trainers say put it in another room. I disagree, especially in those first few weeks. When it's next to you, you hear every whimper. If they whine, you know they need to go out. And your presence, just being close, gives them comfort. They're a baby in a new place. Let them know you're there. Now here's the math. An 8-week-old puppy can hold it for maybe 3-4 hours. You go to bed at 11? You're getting up at 2:30 or 3 a.m. Set an alarm. Don't wait for them to cry. Be proactive. Take them out before there's a problem. You do this for a couple weeks, and you're building the habit before accidents ever start. And these nighttime trips have to be boring. I mean, aggressively boring. Dim light, no talking except the potty cue. No play. They go, you reward quietly, you go back inside, everybody goes back to bed. If they think 3 a.m. is party time, you're in trouble. Before your Brittany walks through that door, you want everything ready. And I mean everything. You don't want to be running to the pet store at 9 p.m. because you forgot an enzyme cleaner. You need good puppy kibble. Stainless steel bowls, durable, easy to clean. A crate that'll become their safe space. A properly fitted harness or collar with a standard leash and an ID tag with your contact info. Chew toys, and not cheap ones. Brittanys are athletic, mouthy dogs with energy to burn, so get tough chew toys and puzzle feeders to keep that brain working. An enzymatic cleaner. I keep saying it because it matters. Regular cleaners leave behind ammonia-based scent markers that your dog's nose can still detect. Those traces basically put up a neon sign that says, "Bathroom here." Enzymatic formula is the only thing that actually eliminates it. Puppy-proof the house before they arrive. Toxic cleaners locked away. Poisonous houseplants gone. Electrical cords hidden or covered. Brittanys are fast, like startlingly fast, and they're agile, so check your backyard fence for gaps or weak points. If there's a way out, they'll find it. Inside, use baby gates to create a designated puppy zone where you can keep an eye on them easily. Pick your outdoor potty spot in advance so there's no confusion on day one, and then settle into a rhythm. Eat, go outside, play, nap. Eat, go outside, play, nap. That predictable loop gives your puppy security. They start to know what's coming next, and that makes everything, including potty training, go smoother. Start basic obedience with reward-based methods right away, and if there's a puppy kindergarten class near you, sign up. It's worth it for the socialization alone. I'm gonna be straight with you. Patience and consistency, those aren't things you're training into your dog. Those are things you're training into yourself. Your Brittany's already got the intelligence. They've got the willingness. What they need is for you to show up the same way, every single time, even when you're exhausted, even when they just peed on the rug for the 3rd time this week. They're bright dogs, but they don't learn instantly. Nobody does. It takes repetition. Steady, boring repetition. And when accidents happen, because they will, you cannot lose your temper. I know that's easy to say and hard to do at 6 a.m., but Brittanys have what trainers call a soft temperament. You raise your voice, you slam something out of frustration, and that dog doesn't think, "I shouldn't pee inside." That dog thinks, "My person is scary." And now they're afraid to go potty in front of you at all, inside or outside. Every person in the household needs to be running the same playbook, same cue word, same reward, same routine. One family member going rogue with the rules is enough to confuse your dog and stall the whole process. And look, this takes months, not days, months. Treat it like a marathon, because that's what it is. Celebrate the small wins. The first time they go to the door on their own, the first dry night. Those moments matter. Training your dog is an ongoing conversation, not a final exam. The work you put in now pays off for the next 12, 14 years. Keep going. All right, I know some of you are on the fence about crates, and some of you feel guilty about them. So let's talk about it. The American Kennel Club has a whole article on this. They rank the crate as one of the top potty training tools because dogs are naturally clean animals who don't want to mess where they sleep.
The Humane Society agrees that it's an important housebreaking tool, but they add a caveat. It's not magic, it has to be used correctly, and it doesn't work for every dog. Vets recommend it, breeders recommend it, professional trainers, including me, recommend it. And the reason is pretty simple. Dogs are den animals. They're hardwired to seek out a small, enclosed, safe space. When the crate becomes that space, they instinctively want to keep it clean. So they hold it. They wait until you take them to their outdoor spot. That's the whole mechanism. And people mess this up constantly, the crate has to be the right size, big enough to stand up, turn around, and lie down. That's it. If it's too roomy, they'll pee in one corner and sleep in the other, and the whole system falls apart. Get a crate with a movable divider so you can adjust as they grow. Use it overnight. Use it when you leave the house. Use it when you can't directly supervise them. Every time they're in the crate and then get taken outside to successfully go potty, you're building the habit. You're teaching bladder control in the most natural way possible. For Brittanys specifically, the crate might be your single most effective tool. I really believe that. But I gotta say the other part too. The crate is not a punishment, ever. You don't send your dog to the crate because they did something wrong, and you don't leave them in there for 8, 9, 10 hours because you're at work. A puppy locked in a crate all day will eventually have to go in there, and once that happens, you've destroyed the den instinct that makes the whole thing work. If you work a 9 to 5, hire a dog walker, look into doggy daycare, figure something out. The crate only works if the dog can realistically hold it for the time they're in there. Everybody wants a number. How long is this going to take? And I get it. You're tired. You want a finish line. Realistically, 4 to 6 months before your Brittany is mostly reliable. And mostly reliable means they get it right the vast majority of the time, but you're still watching, still managing. True reliability, where you can actually relax and trust them in the house, that's more like 8 to 12 months. And that lines up with when their bladder sphincter muscle fully matures and they have complete physical control. But those are averages. Your dog might be faster. Your dog might be slower. Even within Brittanys, there's a huge range of temperaments. Some are bold and confident, pick things up quick. Others are softer, more cautious. They might hesitate to go outside in the rain or take longer to settle into the routine. You have to meet your dog where they are. And honestly, the biggest variable isn't the dog, it's you. Strict routine, constant supervision, immediate rewards. You do those things consistently and you'll shave weeks off the process. Slack on any of them and your smart Brittany gets confused, and confusion means setbacks. Expect big improvements in those first few months, but don't panic if there's a slip at 5 or 6 months. Regressions happen. Fear periods hit, usually around 8 to 11 weeks, and again around 6 to 14 months, and teething is uncomfortable and distracting. These are normal speed bumps, not failures. The dog who's fully housebroken, no worries, leave them alone in the house reliable, that usually takes the better part of a year. Settle in.